What's up? Welcome to Tales to Morrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. Oh, look at that, no book. I finished recording with Miecca, and I'm still here behind the bar, so I might as well just stick here. So, no book for today, but we got plenty of RPG horror stories. Let's get to the first one for today. Aren't you a rogue? Yes, but I'm also lawful good. Hey, this comes from Curse of Strahd Adventure that fell apart a year or two ago. It only lasted a few sessions, so the only thing that mattered was that I was playing a noble soul knife rogue that was lawful good. Good, upstanding noble who wanted the best for the common folk and tried the hardest to do that for them. We started out as usual with the investigation and find out we are now in Barovia. We then go for a few houses, knocking on doors and collecting our bearings. We had a few problems with the barbarian fighter wanting to yoink everything that wasn't nailed down. At first, my character had many problems with this, as we didn't know if this house was lived in and the owners were gone, but after a very long conversation, I realized we were getting nowhere and did what was best for the party and just let it go, since they were just using circular logic like, well, we don't know if anyone doesn't live here, and we made it so much noise someone would have investigated, as if people don't leave their house and lock it before doing something. On top of that, after we realized the house was inhabited by just zombies or constructs, my character began to stop lockpicking doors and instead choosing to use a portable ram. A problem to both of them, even though they have begun kicking doors open while I'm lockpicking them because they thought I was going too slow, despite the DM saying I'll lockpick every door in under 6 seconds. That's yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It sounds like they're impatient unless you're the one ramming doors down. Suddenly it's a problem. Oh, them kicking doors down is fine, but you ramming them is a problem for whatever reason. I just don't understand this logic, dude. It's these people are, who are these people you're playing with? They sound absurd. Genuinely absurd. The worst part comes to where we meet the father, or the cleric in the beginning of Curse of Strahd. He apparently had some important relic, and immediately the fighter asks me to steal it. In which part my character quickly says no, and this is where the fighter blows up. You're a rogue. Yeah, I am. You steal crap. I mean, I'm good at it, but so steal the statue. I'm not stealing from an innocent man. As far as we know, it's not stolen either. You're a rogue. Do what you're good at and steal it. I'm lawful good. I'm not stealing anything from people that don't deserve it. Now, I gotta be honest, I haven't played Curse of Strahd. I get the general gist, right? Barovia has a lot of mysteries. There's the big Strahd man himself, right? Straw Daddy has a lot of stories, like to put it. For the most part, I don't know who is really good or bad. Maybe it's a lot of middle ground. So maybe generally there's a reason why the rogue is playing, why they don't want to steal from a random, you know, priest or whatever, because they don't know if they committed anything bad. The lawful good means they want to stay lawful and not break laws. As long as your alignment doesn't completely take away the cohesion with the party and derail things entirely and creates problems, do what you want to do. You want to play a lawful rogue, play a lawful rogue. If the rogue was making problems for the party because of the alignment prevented them from helping the party, then that'd be a whole other issue. I don't know, maybe this MacGuffin they gotta steal is just that important. I have no idea. As somebody who never played a module like this, I want to know. We entered about a long debate about how just because I'm a rogue, I should just steal everything I see, despite me never portraying any sort of quality like that. It gets to the point where both the fighter and barbarian push me out and take the item as the father yells at them. Then they both trip over the horrible quality of the church. I pick up the statue and give it back to the father, while both the fighter and barbarian try to convince him that I was the one who told them to steal it. It of course goes over horribly, since I was the only one who advocated against such an idea. This is why I checked out of the session, since I just didn't want to babysit some murder-hobos who felt the world revolved around them. But as the session went on, we find a vampire spawn that screams out for father, and both the fighter and barbarian thought he was a pedophile and kept intimidating and saying they would kill him. I just said father is a common term for religious leaders, and they waved me off and continued to harass the priest character. Session ended there. Fighter said he had to leave due to burnout, and the barbarian followed him. DM was happy they left, but wanted a break from the BS they pulled. I think anybody would want a break from these guys. These guys sound like a 2 peas in a pod in the worst way possible. If 2 peas in a pod were instead 2 shit sandwiches. Maybe the players necessarily aren't meaning to be bad or mean to be overly obnoxious, but these guys don't want to participate in stuff. They just want to be like, hey, let's rob stuff. Let's attack whoever we want. We could do whatever we want. We're gods of the universe. Instead of, you know, interacting with the world, focusing on having fun together. They just want to do what they want to do and they want to be selfish and stuff. Some players are like that, and there's not much you can do about them. You can tell them to stop, and if they don't stop, you can either put up with them, or you can kick them out. But they gave the DM and the player an easy out, as they just left because of burnout. You know what? Amicably parting. Good riddance. This is the best outcome that could have happened. Lawful Stupid Player sacrifices himself to save a dozen bandits. We were exploring some ruins when we came upon a dozen bandits. These guys were a minor faction who attacked you and steal your supplies, unless you buy a pass from them. We didn't have a pass. Long story short, we ambushed them and eliminated the whole camp so they wouldn't harm others in the wilderness. At the end of the fight, the cleric finished the last enemy with a non-lethal attack and cast Spare the Dying to stabilize him. Then he cast Spare the Dying on every bandit we killed. The rest of the party say they did not deal non-lethal damage, they were aiming to kill. The DM rules that all 12 bandits are now alive and at 1 HP. I know that's not how Spare the Dying works. The cleric argues it was morally wrong for us to fight this faction and that he wants to question the bandit to learn their intentions. After a long conversation, the bandit only reiterates what we already knew. The party argues about what to do next. 2 party members wanted to kill all the bandits again for fear they would return to their base and put a bounty on us. 2 party members felt it was evil to kill the bandits again, and the cleric brought them back. And the cleric went in a completely different direction. The cleric wanted to get the bandits back on their feet and let them take him prisoner. Then they would present him to the leader back at the base, 150 miles away, literally 15 10-mile spaces on a hex crawl. He wanted to learn what the bandit faction deal. The bandits promised to take him to their base. The DM had our sorcerer do an insight check, which let him cast and detect thoughts. He realized the bandits were lying, would kill the cleric at the first opportunity and disappear into the wilderness. The cleric said he was okay with dying if it meant the dozen bandits lived. I mean, these guys don't have much of a personality or lore or anything. I'm pretty sure the DM just put them there as just an obstacle. Sometimes you just want to throw something at the players to engage in combat, right? You don't think about it. You don't really care to give it a big depth. They just, here are the big bads. Fight begins. Combat starts. Roll initiative. Yeah, maybe there could be some sort of an epic storyline and stuff, but clearly the DM is saying that, like, listen, these guys are just pure evil, and they don't care to do anything with you. They don't care to cooperate, and they're just gonna kill the cleric for the sake of killing the cleric. If you're just letting your character die for that reason, instead of sticking with the party and realizing that, hey, maybe the DM is hinting that there's no point trying to engage with these guys. These guys are just made as cannon fodder. What's the point of having your characters sacrifice to let 12 bandits that want to steal from people and extort people live? At this point, the DM introduces a new voice among the bandits. This rando mocks the cleric and reveals the Bandit King's evil secret plans. That being that they allied with pirates, who were then hired to stop to plunder ships coming to the area, and then they traffic the loot. Also, the Bandit King is a really bad dude. The cleric argues that the leader may be corrupt, but it could be that the average bandits don't know about the piracy, and it might be good people fighting for what they believe is an honorable cause. He pitches a new plan. When the bandits take him to their base, he'll use thaumaturgy to amplify his voice and reveal to all the bandits that their leader is in league with the local pirates. The cleric anticipated that alone would make the bandit leader step down. He said this in front of the bandits who would be responsible for bringing him back. And he reasoned that they wouldn't kill him on the journey because they all heard the same secret and they're in danger somehow. The DM told the cleric straight up that if he does this, the character will die. The cleric player confidently disagreed. My man, your DM is telling you, if you're doing this, it's a death sentence. Are you sure? And you just, without listening to the DM, says, I disagree. I think I will live. Well, you chose this fate, I guess. The party got into an actual argument that almost ended with PvP. Finally, the party walked away. The cleric helped the bandits onto their feet and went with the bandits in the other direction. That was the end of the session. In a post-game discussion, the DM was really upset that the cleric threw his character away, especially because his background was tied to the endgame. He asked if the cleric was trying to play a new character. The cleric player said he wanted to keep playing the character and thought this was a compelling storyline. He asked to continue the cleric's adventure as a side story until he's freed, that he joined the party. DM put his foot down and said the bandits are just going to kill him a few miles down the road, and that even if they didn't, we aren't going to play out a side story of the cleric being a prisoner 150 miles away while everyone else does the main adventure. The next session, cleric came back stumbling back to the party. had an off-screen adventuring with a DM where the bandits were attacked by a huge monster who saw a dozen 1 HP human limping through the woods. The cleric was the only survivor. The DM shifted his alignment from neutral good to lawful good. Well, at least the cleric gets to play with the party now. This isn't lawful good, it's lawful stupid. And the reason lawful stupid is used is because clearly this is beyond any sort of reason, beyond any sort of reasonable conclusion that the player could come to, especially when your DM says, listen, you're gonna die. If you follow through with this, your character will die. This will be game over. No returns, no checkpoints, no nothing. You're throwing your character away. Don't do this, please. And the player is still like, I disagree. My character would be able to prevail through this, definitely, because there's no way that my character would be able to die. You will go on an epic solo adventure and then force the DM to just, run 2 separate sessions, a mini session and the rest of the game and stuff. It's not the DM splitting the party, the cleric is splitting the party, and DM doesn't want that. DM wants everybody to stick together and go on this adventure and stuff, and they already have stuff prepared for the cleric and everything to get further involved in more plot and story. Bandit Pirate story sounds cool, but don't force your DM out of nowhere to just change course entirely because it's completely left field, 150 miles in a different direction than where the party was going initially. What, you just spring that up on the DM? That's unfair for the DM. Stick with the party and please, 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 for love of God, make a character lawful, make a character evil, whatever. Just don't make him the stupid alignment. Go with the reasonable, smart decisions, especially if the DM says, if you do this, you're gonna die. You may want to rethink. When a DM tells you up front, when just straight up tells you, this is a terrible idea, this will not get your character to do anything other than die, listen to the DM. They're telling you that for a reason. A character creation flaw used by GM for bad things. As stated in the title, trigger warning for SA and R. Back when D&D 5e first came out, I was searching for a group to play with on a popular TTRPG website. I remember searching through all the different dates and times that games were open, and eventually I found one that had some light homebrew that caught my eye. In this game, the DM said they would work with us to build our characters and would give us 1 bonus based on what we decided our character would be good at. The game did have mature content listed, which was something I was fine with. There were no specifics other than this is a game for adults and will have adult themes. You may want to clarify beyond adult themes, right? Because I mean, like, even video game labels have, like, you know, when it's mature, suggestive content, alcohol, blackjack and hookers, violence, gratuitous violence, gore, nudity. They have this sort of thing. I mean, it's not that difficult to say what kind of adult themes you're gonna put out. As long as you're clear about your intentions, right? And if I have players that are cool with those intentions, then there's no problem. The problem becomes when they say adult themes, but they don't mention what kind of adult themes specifically and just expect you to know that. It's like a DM playing another gotcha, and I hate when DMs play gotchas. Really dislike it. During character creation, I, at the time 20 male, decided to make a female Aasimar sorcerer. During creation, I chose the noble background and wanted to go for a had studied magic her whole life, and upon finding power in her bloodline, she wanted to test how far she could push her powers. While choosing traits, I chose the flaw of I have an insatiable desire for carnal pleasures. And when the DM asked what I thought of, what I told them that, being a noble, my character had been forced to chastity. As lots of us know, when you grow up and are banned from doing something the moment you have your own freedom, you're a lot more likely to try this thing as the taboo of it makes it more mysterious to you. I told the DM that my character would likely try to have paid companions at dinner inns they stayed at, but that I didn't really need or want to go into detail with these things. Just something for flavor. Maybe costing 5 silver to 1 gold every few days in game. Fast forward to the start of the game. Session 1 goes normally. Party meets up, we get our first quest, and we have a single fight. After the fight, the party goes back to the inn and rests. End session 1. Start session 2. The party wakes up and finds my character missing. I'm really confused, and I message the DM asking if this is some kind of a plot hook, to which they respond, kind of, so I let it slide. No, oh, no. Cardinal son number 1. If you're gonna do something with your player's character, ask him ahead of time, let him know, because I'm telling you right now, I've seen stories where DMs just take over the creative freedom and go into the grotesque and gross. If you are gonna do something with a player's character, listen, just ask ahead of time, hey, can I do this with your character for the beginning of the session? Typically players will say sure, unless it's something messed up. They will say no, don't do that. The PCs do some investigating, and after paying the innkeeper all their gold as a bribe, they learned that some guards came in after I went to sleep and arrested me. The DM then does a scene pan to my character waking up, chained in a jail cell. Some of the guards are overheard talking about how they recognize my character as being from a noble family. Apparently the DM had decided that the town we would start in was actually at war with whatever my PC was from, so my character was arrested in her sleep, not being an effective POW. Upon seeing her waking up, the guard came over and gave my PC a beating, as most antagonist group guards would. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, well, so we're starting off with working on my character's story. The party is going to be tasked with rescuing me. We flee the city and find out what to do from there. Little did I know, this was nowhere near what was going on. The DM described how after leaving me with 1 or 2 HP, the guards unchained me and began to drag me out of my cell. I'm wondering what's going on as I heard him describe a bed with shackles on it coming into view. What the fuck? We all kind of knew this is going, so let's finish it, I guess. Long story short, the guards proceed to assault my character before throwing her out onto the streets as the party shows up. The players don't really do anything and just ask what happened, as I'm still a bit shocked by what the DM just did. I had no idea how to respond, simply saying, we should leave the town. I honestly don't remember what happened with the rest of session 2, as that was really jarring to me. And at the end of these sessions, the DM tells the party that my character has contracted a magical STD, which will lower all her rolls by 1 until cured. Oh my god, DM. What a scumbag, dude. What a scumbag. Not only do you just not even check if the player's cool with this whole scenario, their character just got spit roasted and gangbanged, and they could do nothing about it. And on top of that, giving them a freaking STD that lowers the stats by 1. Jesus Christ. I messaged the DM with a TLDR. Yo, WTF was that? You just R'd my character. To which he responded, you're the one who said your character would want partners at the inns you were at. This is a mature game for a reason. Don't make your character a slut unless you want them to be W'd out, wiped out, or whatever. What does W out mean? What does W'd out? What does it mean by W'd? I get the R, but I don't get the W. Also, what is up with the DM? Just be like, don't make a slut then. The player didn't. They just said they're promiscuous. But they didn't say they want to get spit roasted by guards. I left the game, blocked the DM, and didn't interact with anyone in that game again. You know what? Good. I'm actually honestly surprised other players didn't say anything at all. I am very much surprised. I think most people would be like, yeah, I signed up for like an adult game and adult themes of like heavy stuff, but this is a little bit too much for me. I just want to play some math rocks, man. That's what I want to do. I don't want this. Next time the DMs put adult themes, it would be much easier if you just tell what kind of adult themes you have, so players like this one can avoid having to be in these sort of games and dealing with horrible, crappy DMs like this, because this is some hot garbage right here. And with that, that'll be all our stories for today. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you want to give any feedback, comment section below, like the video, and subscribe for more videos. For now though, I'm gonna go ahead and drink a bit of this ale and get on to editing more videos for y'all. So I'll see you later. Bye.